What's up, guys? I am back. This is officially 48 hours without an extract for me. I was hoping I would have some better news about my sleep pattern last night, and unfortunately, I do not have better news. Last night was not dissimilar to the night before last, and then the night before that. Drifted off about 10:30, 11, something like that, and like clockwork, at 2 o'clock I woke up. 2:11 to be exact, because I looked at my phone. And after that, I slept very, very, very little. Now, I obviously did drift back off at some point, because I remember having some random dreams. That's the only way I knew that I actually slept between 2 and 6:30, which is the time that I actually get out of bed in the morning. So there was a little sleep mixed in there somewhere, but it definitely wasn't much, because I remember just lying there and lying there and lying there, just counting the minutes and the hours, like, geez. Again, I'm not in major kratom withdrawals, because I'm still taking the powdered form. I'm 4 days off of the extract themselves. I'm still taking anywhere from 10 to 12 grams of kratom powder per day. And that kind of leads me to my next topic. If you are someone who is going through an addiction with kratom, and you're interested in coming off of it, one piece of advice that I can give you, and I'm talking to myself just as much as I'm talking to you when I say this, one piece of advice that I can give you is be patient. Because I'm one of those people, all or nothing, go hard or go home. That's just the mentality that I have. I'm like that in every aspect of my life. When I'm in the gym, if I'm exercising, or if I'm jogging, or if I'm doing, my thing is, why are you going to be there if you're not going to go as hard as you can? I'm just like that. And unfortunately, I'm like that with my drug use as well. Go hard or go home. I'm either all in, taking it every chance that I can get, or, I'm not taking it at all. There's not much of a middle ground for me, as is the case with most people who have some sort of addiction to drugs, and I imagine it's especially that way for opiates. But what I mean by be patient with yourself is, I'm one of those people that when I decide to come off of something, I tend to go really hard, and I want to cut down my dosage a little too quickly sometimes. And I think that's what was happening with me last night. So yesterday, I actually took 2 capsules less of the kratom than what I was, taking the day before. So yesterday, on Thursday, I took somewhere around 10.5 to 11 grams. Whereas the day before that, on Wednesday, I took, 12.5 grams. So I was cutting down the dosage by about 1.5 grams. I said that I was going to do that weekly, and I didn't do that weekly. And I already, just within a couple of days of coming off the extract, I've already started chopping down the amount of kratom powder that I'm taking. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you can stand to do it. Me, I'm in the situation where, I've got a lot of responsibility. I have a job, and I have a job that requires me to be there every day. It's not one of those type of jobs where you can just call and, oh, I'm sick, or I don't feel well. You could, but, it's the kind of place that if you do that one too many times, they're probably going to get rid of you. And I need my job. So I have to be responsible. I have to be there every day, and I can't be there and be my best if I'm in full-on kratom withdrawals, feeling like shit every day. So if you're just happening on this video and you've not seen my previous videos. I'll recap a little bit. I struggle with an addiction to painkillers, meaning Vicodins and Percocets, where I was taking a large amount every day and had a major tolerance for them. Now this has been, 15 years ago, and it's been a long time since I've had any addiction to painkillers, but I have quit painkillers cold turkey. And for any of you out there who have ever been through a cold turkey, Percocet withdrawal, it is literally hell on earth, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I can't imagine anything any worse than that. And and I'm 46 years old. This is something that I've struggled with. Opiates has been the main thing that I've struggled with my adult life in terms of drugs. And I started taking Kratom thinking, well, finally I found the golden goose. They say that it's not as bad, as not nearly as addictive, the withdrawals aren't nearly as bad, that sort of thing. It's more of a mild, natural form, but it still attaches to those same opiate receptors, which gives you that sense of euphoria that all of us opiate addicts crave for. And so that's kind of how I got hooked on Kratom. And I've been taking the extracts, which are much stronger and much more intense, for roughly on and off about a year and a half, something like that. And I've actually quit those cold turkey. I did that less than a year ago, about 8 or 9 months ago. I did that, and I explained that on one of my previous videos. So go back and watch those if you haven't, and you're just happening on this video. Go watch my first few and listen to the progression, and listen to me talk about some of my past experiences and things like that. So back to being patient. A lot of times when you want to come off of something like this, you want to be that type of person. Just go ahead and cut it down as fast as you can. The faster I can cut it down, the faster I can get the amount down to zero, and the faster I can be completely off of it. And there have been times that I have done that. But the times that I have done it have been periods of my life where either I wasn't working, I was in between jobs. The last time when I quit Kratom cold turkey, I'd actually been laid off from a previous job, and I was receiving severance pay. So I wasn't working for them anymore, but I was still getting paid for it. And I was in process of looking for another job, but I didn't have to show up and be at work every day. I didn't have to be responsible for anything. So it was a perfect time for me personally, and I actually had that conversation with myself at that time. This is probably a good time to quit the Kratom, because you don't have to worry so much about the uncomfortable nature of the withdrawals and getting through it, because at least you don't have to be at work every day and you can experience it at your home. And that's what I did, and it was tough, and I didn't sleep for probably 10 days straight. So if anybody tells you that Kratom, it's mild, it can be, and it's definitely more mild than coming off of a like Percocet or Vicodin or something like. And if you're abusing something like that, it's definitely more mild, and I completely agree with that. And if you're one of those people that's only taking a few grams per day, if you're taking 3-4 grams, 5 grams a day of Kratom, not very much, taking it once a day, or you'll take it you're one of those people that it can actually control it, and you'll take it one day and then you don't take it again for a couple of days, and then you'll take a little more, or you're just taking it on the weekends, or what, you may not even have withdrawals. And if you do, it's probably going to be very mild as far as you're concerned. But for a person like me who takes doses of it every day, multiple times per day, I don't just sit around scooping Kratom into my mouth all day, but I will dose it to where I take it 3 times a day. I'll take some when I first get up in the morning, take another dosage somewhere around lunchtime, and then when I get home in the evenings after I've exercised, I'll take my last dosage for the day. So I am taking it regularly several times a day. And if you do that for a long enough period of time, you will develop a tolerance. And even though Kratom may not be as bad as Percocet, it's not going to be easy to come off of it. And I want to be completely transparent about that. And it is going to be difficult. It is going to be tough. And there is no magic pill to completely negate the withdrawals. There just isn't one. There's things that you can do, which I'm going to share a few things with you. And I've actually written down and jotted down a few things that I wanted to remember to mention to you that can actually help you kind of get through the withdrawals without quite so much issue. But, if you're looking for a magic pill, the only magic pill is going to be just continue taking the Kratom. And that's one of the things that is so hard about quitting opiates, because when you go to quit, your body is in haywire mode. You feel sick, you feel lethargic, you feel depressed, you're physically ill. Sometimes it messes with your bowels. You feel like you've got a case of the flu, especially if you've built up a pretty good tolerance to it. And the knowledge that the only thing that can help you is to take more of the thing that is making you sick. That's a real mind fuck. I'm going to be honest with you. And that's one of the things that makes it so difficult, because all you want to do is just be out of that situation and you just want to feel better. But then when you think about it, you're like, the only way to feel better is to take more of it. And then what does that do other than just lock you back into that active addiction? And it just keeps going on and on and on and on, a vicious cycle, which is one of the reasons it's a cycle that's so difficult to break. This ain't no weed. Weed has a half-life to where it tapers itself out of your system. So there's not really a lot of physical withdrawals that come, or any physical withdrawals that come with quitting something like marijuana. Whereas anything that attaches to those opiate receptors in your brain, Vicodins, Percocet, H, that one probably, I've never gone through H withdrawal, but I've heard that that's the worst. I can't imagine anything worse than withdrawing from Percocets. I really can't, because that was the worst thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. And I'll talk about that some in subsequent videos. So I think where I messed up last night is, I'm trying to go in too hard on, backing off of the amount of Kratom that I'm taking every day. I think tonight, I've been 3 nights in a row now, and I've probably only gotten 2-3 hours of somewhat decent sleep. And so I'm pretty tired. My mood is starting to get a little better. That's my daytime. My daytimes are starting to level out a little bit more, because it's been several days since I've taken the extract. But it's the sleep, and I'm sure anyone who's been addicted to opiates can tell you that the nighttime is the worst. After several days, you get to a point where you start kind of feeling somewhat normal throughout the day, physically anyway. The depression and the low mood and stuff like that can kind of linger on for a couple of weeks, maybe a few weeks, just depending on how deep you were in the throes of addiction and how much you were taking, what your tolerance was, that sort of thing. But the physical part of it, for the most part, 3 to 5 days, you kind of start coming out of it in terms of your daytime routine. But the nighttime, man, it can be bad. You can go 7, 10 days, 12 days. When I quit Percocets, 15 years ago or whenever it was that I came off of them, I quit it cold turkey. And I shared this in my last video. I went 2 weeks without sleeping. When I say 2 weeks, I don't mean, I just wasn't sleeping that well. No. I did not sleep for 2 weeks, as in my body did not shut down to the point that I was sleeping for 2 weeks. And it was horrible. And it was just a nightmare. And finally, right around that 2-week mark, I remember opening my eyes one morning and thinking, I'm waking up. If I'm waking up, that means I fell asleep. This is amazing. And that was a victory for me. you know, and I had fallen asleep at some point throughout the night, and I probably only slept for a couple of hours, but that was big, and that let me know that I was at the tail end of it. I was starting to come out of it. And you know, that's the kind of thing you're gonna deal with. So I'm gonna share with you, and again, I'm a person who's been through this stuff. So if you're a younger person, this is your first time to the rodeo with some sort of opiate, whether it's kratom or something else, the stuff that I'm about to read off to you is going to be relevant to your journey here and your experience if you are interested in coming off of them. So one of the main things that I found helps when you're coming off of some sort of opiate is exercise. I know it's counterintuitive, and it's one of those things where it's the last freaking thing on earth that you feel like doing. You don't even feel like standing up. You don't even feel like getting out of bed. Even though you're probably tossing and turning and miserable in bed, it's like the worst flu you can ever have, especially if it's something like Percocets or, you know, Vicodins or something like that. But exercise is a natural mood booster. It does two things. It helps to sweat all of that out of your system, and it will help you, you know, get back to ground zero quicker, because it helps to sweat that drug out of your system. And it also increases dopamine. It's a scientific fact that exercise increases dopamine. And when you're coming off of something like this, you know, depression is a big part of it, low mood. So at that point, you're wanting to do anything to just kind of help increase your mood a little bit. And exercise is really good for that. Also, multivitamin. They say that things like potassium, eating a banana, taking magnesium at night can really help with like the restless legs that you might be experiencing and just the general discomfort of the withdrawals. I do not take a magnesium supplement per se. I am, even at this point, taking a multivitamin. That serves two purposes too. It helps to replace some of those vitamins that your body is unable to metabolize because it's too busy metabolizing the drug that you're taking every day. When you're taking, you know, some sort of opiate every day, all day, and you've been doing that for a long period of time, your body finds itself in, you know, in a depletion mode of, you know, certain vitamins and minerals because it's too busy, you know, metabolizing the drug. So it's important to take a multivitamin that should help some also with any withdrawal symptoms that you're having. Drink lots of water. This is right up there with exercise, because just like exercise helps to flush the drug out of your system, which the quicker you flush the drug out of your system, the quicker your body can get to ground zero and start to heal itself and start to readjust to not having the drug. And if you still have the drug, you know, your body can only make small incremental adjustments based on, you know, you lowering your dosage and tapering, which is kind of what I'm doing. So drink lots of water to get that stuff out of your system. Eat fibrous foods. You know, when you take some sort of opiate, one of the biggest side effects that you hear people talk about is constipation, and that's not good. You know, poop is toxin in your body, so you need to get rid of that. And this is something I talked about yesterday. I've never struggled too bad with that because I'm one of those people where, yeah, I take kratom, but I also eat super healthy. I eat a bunch of fruits, vegetables, I drink tons of water every day, and I also exercise. So I haven't really had a lot of issues with like constipation. I'm a pretty regular guy, so to speak, and you know, that's something that will really help you. If you're a person that doesn't really, if you take some sort of opiate and you also don't have a very good diet, and you also don't exercise, and you also don't drink a bunch of water, you're going to have some problems with being impacted or compacted. Or constipation is another term for it. And one way to fix that, several ways to fix that: exercise, get that digestive system moving, get everything moving in there. The multivitamins will help everything move. Drink the water to help move the vitamins around, to flush everything out of your system. Eat lots of fiber, fibrous food, fruits, vegetables, raw vegetables if you can stand it. And stuff like that will really help your digestive system get to moving again after stopping whatever opiate drug you might be taking. Bananas, avocados are good. Avocados are a superfood. All this stuff will help, deliver, really, really good fatty acids to your system to help you kind of clean all that stuff out of your system. Cold showers, I've never been really big on this one. One of the things I did do when I was coming off of Percocets years back was I would cycle like 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off of just as cold as you can stand it. I know it sounds horrible, and it is in the moment, but it causes, stand under that cold water as cold as you can take it and just shiver. Just shiver. Just shiver and let it run all down your head and all down your torso and your back, and just shiver as long as you can take it. Step out of the water for a minute or turn it to warm. Get back to, where you're breathing normally again, and then turn it on cold again. Do like 3 cycles of these. You will shiver to the point where when you come out, you will almost, in a way, feel like almost euphoric in a way, but it's natural, and it floods your brain with just all these chemicals that kind of help relax you. And the process of shivering, is almost like exercising in a way, and it causes you to, just get some of that mess, that is in your system. It causes you to just shake it out, and it, will increase blood flow and things like that. So if you can stand it, that's something that will really help as well. And the last thing I want to say is just, and I'm saying this to myself too, be patient. Be patient. If you're doing a cold turkey, all the things I just told you, it's gonna suck for a while. There is no magic pill. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there is no magic pill unless you're going to take something like Suboxone but then you're going to withdraw from Suboxone. Methadone. You're going to withdraw from, those things only, in my opinion, prolong the process. Now, if that's the only way you can do it and your life is set up in a way where that's the only option you have, fine. That's better than staying on the Percocets or the H or whatever it is you're doing, or the Kratom. That's better than the alternative long term, but it still, that's gonna keep you addicted in a sense, and you're still gonna have to. I've taken Suboxone, and the withdrawal from the Suboxone was equal to, if not worse than, the withdrawal from Percocets, if I recall. It has been a long time, but I've been through it, guys. I've been through it. Everyone's different. I get that. So it's going to depend on what works for you. But if you're not doing cold turkey and you're looking to taper, which is what I'm doing, be patient with yourself, And this is something I didn't do yesterday. I cut down from day to the very next day 1.5 grams already. I shouldn't have done that, because I laid there last night and my situation as far as my sleep was almost a little worse than it was the day before that. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be getting consecutively better each day. You're going to have to give your body 2 or 3 days in between to adjust to the new level that you're taking. And I didn't do that. And so today, I plan on taking a full probably 11, 12 grams like I was doing, to give my body throughout the weekend to adjust to that. And then once I start sleeping on that amount again, starting next week, I'll go ahead and cut it down by a capsule each day, which is, a capsule is around 654 milligrams, what I take. So a little over 1/2 gram. So I'll start cutting it down week by week. And that's something I need to, I'm reminding not just you, but I'm reminding myself of that. Be patient. Don't try to cut it down too fast, because if you do that, you're still going to have some withdrawals. Maybe you're in a situation where you're not really working right now, you don't have a serious job, or you don't have a job, and maybe you can do a quicker taper, and you can afford to feel like shit every day. I personally cannot. I have absolutely too much responsibility as an employee, as a husband, and as a father. So for me, I just have to be patient, and I'm going to do a week by week taper. And that's what my plan is. So listen, I really appreciate you guys watching. If you really like the content, and it's inspiring to you, or it just is helping you get through whatever it is you're going through, you know, leave a like, subscribe, and please comment. You know, I'll read the comments. I promise I'll read the comments, because this is therapeutic for me as well, which is why I've been doing these videos every day. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's support each other through this. I'll see you next time. Peace.